These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back for another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Saturday, August 19th. And we have plenty of stuff still. I'm still waiting for the day that we boot up to record. And there is just literally nothing.
It would have come already.
Yeah, I know. I think we've gotten past it, honestly.
We've had those days. We've had days where we sat down and just were like, what are we going to do?
True. We're booting up to find some stuff now. We made the sheet. What? It took us 20 minutes to make the sheet today.
I showered and got here, and by the time I got here, it was done. So
yeah, easy. Then I took an extra 10 minutes so I could watch the highlights of the Brentford game that I didn't get to watch this morning. Ratless Arsenal for stealing our goalkeeper. Anyways, early ratless. Before we keep you guys going with the rest of the podcast, I did want to let you know we will be live on our channel with the First to the Floor guys who are also with CLNS Media. It might be live on the CLNS channel. We haven't talked about that yet. I'm not sure, but we will be live on How About Them Celtics Monday night at 8 p.m. with First to the Floor for a Celtics game show extravaganza. We haven't come up with the title for yet. It is we might just call it the Celtics game show, I think.
Maybe.
And we're gonna do a bunch of different games.
Celtics challenge.
Something. We'll think of something.
The challenge
we've done
Celtics.
Yeah. We'll think of some alliteration. We've done Celtics Jeopardy in the past. Now we have a wider variety of games. We might play, I think, 3 to 5. We'll find some sort of balance. We'll determine a winner with those guys. Yeah. But thank you to First to the Floor for joining us. Again, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Check it out. Come tune in. Come hang out with us. We'll be live with those guys. It'll be a good time. I'm excited for it.
Back to the show.
We can kick things off with a list from The Athletic. Sam loves player rankings. I know it's his favorite thing in the world. So
player
I figured
rankings are fucking stupid and nobody cares about them. See the videos we posted last week.
This is true. However, Sam, guess what? We're going to be reacting
We're
to
going
them
to lead
anyways.
the show with it.
Absolutely.
Please don't click off.
The Athletic, we have plenty of other Celtic stuff. This is just something that we're starting with because it's the first thing that I saw online. The Athletic released their yearly NBA player rankings, and the Celtics have 7 players in the top, I don't know, 120 something, 125, I believe. They're not firm rankings. The Athletic did tiers, which I think you like tiers better, right? That's your preferred
tiers,
method.
yes.
So we're going to take a look at the tiers. I don't know if you've seen this at all, Sam, but we're going to take a look and see where these guys stand. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll pull up the list. If not, we're going to talk through it anyway, so it's fine. But the tiers are as follows. There is 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. Like there's letters and numbered tiers, and it goes through the league. The Celtics have nobody in tier 1A and nobody in tier 1B. So it is Giannis, and we're not going to read every player in every tier, but since Tatum is towards the top, I figured we'd give some context.
I think Embiid being up there is a little.
I agree. I think so. For those wondering, it's on the screen, but Giannis, Steph, and Jokic are 1A. Durant, Luka, and Embiid are 1B, and then 2A, which is where Jayson Tatum falls, is LeBron, Kawhi, Jimmy, Jayson Tatum, and Devin Booker. I feel like Jayson Tatum should either join 1B or be there. I think he could be there instead of Durant or Embiid. I understand Durant has done so much, but he just can't stay on the court. And if we're going to take that into account with some other players, I feel like he should be taken into account too. I think Tatum should be 1B. It doesn't actually matter at all for anything, but I think he's a little low. I don't know. I think he's the best player in this 2A tier by a pretty okay margin. Jimmy's probably
Jimmy
second.
if he decides to play.
Yeah, but
try.
I don't know. It's weird. We'll roll through it. We don't have to spend too much time. Tier 3 is where Jaylen Brown falls. He is 3A with Bam Adebayo, De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, Jaren Jackson, Donovan Mitchell. Something I thought I should question: how is Donovan Mitchell down here when guys like Paul George, Jamal Murray, James Harden?
Yeah, but I don't know how Paul George and Harden are above these guys. I don't. I feel bad for Paul George because he probably gets like a lot of strays for being teammates with Kawhi, and everybody kind of ties him in together as guys that don't play. But Paul George, I'm pretty sure, did play quite a bit last year, and he was solid when he did play. But I don't think anybody's like fearing him anymore. It's just like it's almost like they're playing in a small market where you just don't hear about them, right?
Actually,
like it's like they went away.
Since joining the Clippers, 48 games, 54 games, 31 games, 56 games.
Yeah, I guess.
Not that great. I don't know. I just thought Donovan Mitchell got a bit disrespected here. He was really good for the Cavs last year. Obviously, maybe the playoff exit bumped him down, but there is that. The next guys, so the next 3 Celtics are in the 4A tier. And that
Jaylen
would be
Brown above Kyrie, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Jaylen Brown above the likes of Kyrie Irving, Drew Holiday, Pascal Siakam, Zion Williamson,
Not a little high on this list. You
Bradley
want to talk
Beal.
about guys not getting on the court? Look no
He's up
further. Did
there.
you see the pictures of Zion?
He looks big.
He was
Not
doing high
in a bad way.
knees. He still looks kind of
in
big.
shape. Yeah, but it's a better big. It's not fat big. He looks
Rome wasn't built in a day or torn down.
This is true.
Depends how you want to look at it.
Next 3 Celtics find themselves in the 4A tier. That would be Robert Williams, Derek White, and Kristaps Porzingis on the same level as Rob and Derek White.
Low.
You say kind of low, but he is also in the same tier as Darius Garland, Desmond Bane, Anunoby, Sabonis. Like this is a big tier of impactful players. You can make an argument, okay, maybe the likes of excuse me, Sabonis and Desmond Bane and Garland should be above.
Do they give
LaMelo,
criteria?
Mikal Bridges, but
like to how they determine these rankings?
They give some stats, so like minutes per win, EPM, 3-year average, like a bunch of advanced stats.
These stats can all kick rocks, dude. Like I don't know what any of them mean.
Me neither. I don't understand them either. So
you can't use stats that none of us know what it means. Essentially, like Jack and I could make a list and like put pancakes per dribble and ever be like, what does that mean? And we use it to rank these guys. We could just make up the numbers because nobody knows what it actually means.
This is true. Well, we
just
should
be like, we took into account games played, points per game, efficiency, and like team winning percentage, like just stuff like that. That's simple enough.
I think there probably is explanations up here somewhere. But I don't feel like reading it, and so I'm not going to. But the 4A tier, Sam, if this makes you feel any better, I just told you Rob, Porzingis, and Derek White are in 4A. Some notable names in the 4B tier: Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet, Julius Randle. Some guys that you are
appropriately placed on the
4C. You see 4C down here, Mr. Zach LaVine. So
I know ball. I know ball.
Better.
People love to trash Marcus Smart. Look who he's right next to.
Yep. Marcus Smart in 4C with Zach LaVine. Other names: Jeremy Grant, John Collins, Tyler Hero, Josh Giddey. Like so the 4A tier is a pretty good place to be for Rob, Porzingis, and Derek White.
The only thing I think about this is it's just like, do you think Porzingis and Rob are on the same level? Really? Like even Derek White?
No.
Derek White's more of an argument because he played like every game last year and he was really good in the playoffs and he took a little bit of a leap.
This is what I was referencing because I knew Porzingis was in this tier. This is what I was referencing when I was talking about Kevin Durant being a little high because of injuries, because I have to assume some of this has to do with injuries. At the same time, I also have to imagine, again, I don't exactly know what these stats are, but I think they are all trying to measure the impact on winning. Porzingis hasn't really had the chance to impact winning in Washington last season because they were just bad. He did in Dallas, but they weren't very good because the fit wasn't there. So I assume it has to do with the fact that his teams haven't done very well and that he hasn't impacted winning on that level. Similar to the likes of how, Derek White just impacted winning at the second highest level on the second best team in the league. So there are things like that I have to assume, like Brook Lopez up there, stuff like that. And the last 2 Celtics on the list find themselves in 5A, Al Horford and Malcolm Brogdon in this tier with Klay Thompson, Scotty Barnes, Kyle Lowry, and Dylan Brooks, which is just the most hodgepodge, ridiculous group of players to be grouped together here.
Russ.
Dinwiddie, Quickly, Kevin Huerter, and then the last tiers are 5. Actually, 5A is the last tier. Grant is also in 5A.
Why is Markelle Fultz a different color than everybody else?
I have seen this every time I've looked at the list, and I have no idea why he is green.
Maybe
I just couldn't tell you.
Oh, maybe it's because he moved up.
No, because it's the same as him. Look, this is Jalen Green's first appearance on the list and Markelle Fultz, and they're both the same thing right here. I have no idea why Markelle Fultz is green, but the Celtics have 7 players on the list. I think that's the most of any team. I haven't counted, but in the article I wrote, who put this together? Ben DuPont put this together for Celtics blog, so I took a look at his article to see where the players were. So shout out Ben, but I think this might be the most. I can't think of another team that would have more for me to hit like Control F and take a look. What team do you think could have more? That's what I've been trying to rack my brain and think of. Like maybe
Denver would have Jokic, Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. That's 4. KCP, does he make it? No.
5. Yes.
Okay, Miami, Butler, Bam, Hero, Lowry was on there. We saw that. Besides that, they have all
4.
the guys they picked off the street.
Yep, they just have 4. Bucks.
Milwaukee.
1, 2, 3.
They have
Just
4.
Just 4. Yep, 4 for the Bucks. That's it. Warriors maybe.
By the way,
Yeah.
people saying try Phoenix. By the way, people saying the Celtics are not deep. 7 people on the list.
Warriors also have 7. So
Okay.
they're tied with the Warriors because Kevon Looney and Gary Payton crack the bottom of the list. And then the Suns, I don't think the Suns would have. I think they just have 4. Yeah, because they have nobody past Ayton. But I just thought that was interesting. I thought the most interesting thing, and the main reason I wanted to bring that up is because Porzingis was on the same tier as Derek White and
I just thought
Robert
that's
Williams.
odd.
It is a bit weird.
Because Porzingis is coming off a great season.
Yeah.
Career high in points. The 3rd most games played of his career, obviously, is the foot thing now. But seriously, like last year was a good year for Porzingis. I don't think he should have any kind of knocks on him for that, other than maybe the team sucked. Which is
that's the biggest thing, I think. Like, he probably didn't impact winning because they did, excuse me, they didn't win much. Excuse me. Wow. But yeah, I just it's Celtics stuff and rankings, and we'll throw in the show. The next thing we have is the Celtics schedule was released. We've talked briefly about this in pieces because we talked about the Christmas game. We talked about other things that came out the in-season tournament, but the full schedule was released after we dropped our last show. So let's go over some games. Sam, I know you wrote about it for Celtics Blog.
Yes.
So if you want to lead this and let us know what games people should be looking out for.
I sure did.
Away.
So I wrote this way before the schedule came out just because I knew what I was looking forward to, and then I filled in the dates. Little magic trick there for you if you're looking to learn how to, do editorial stuff. But in my making time, right, like getting ahead of everything, I may have forgot about Ime Udoka coming back to the Garden. So I think that is an honorable mention. You have it on the list here. But
yeah, I noted it.
I was like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. And I think that may be one of the most interesting ones. And here's why. How's it going to be received? People are going to boo him? Are they going to cheer for him? Or are people going to be like, we wish they didn't fire you? Are people going to call him a pig? Like, this could go a zillion ways, right? Chat, what are you going to do? I'm very curious. I'm serious. Like, I'm curious how people are going to go about this. There are still people in the comments, people on Twitter, people on Reddit that are like, they should have never got rid of Ime. It's complete facts. Like, this is a polarizing return.
It's going to be weird.
I know you're upset about the whole thing. I know you don't really like the situation and you think he was very wrong, but not everybody's like that.
I know. I understand why people don't like. I understand why Celtics fans are so upset that he left because he was a good coach. It just frustrates me how so many people can like they're so focused on being a Celtics fan that they completely ignore the fact that these are like people and like they make like he did something really weird. Like how are we not acknowledging that because you like the way?
No, it's true.
It's just like they have no like separation in their brain. Like, yes, he was a good coach, but he also did something that's pretty creepy if you look into it. But whatever, it's going to be an interesting return regardless.
I think a lot of people are upset because the full like what happened has not really been released. Like you said,
I don't think they legally
all over the place. I understand that part of it too, because there was like a big investigation. Like, it could go to court. I really don't know how it's going to work, but that is like a wrinkle to that where they probably can't tell everybody and everything. But you bet your ass 20 years down the road, the documentary is going to absolutely rule. And so it really depends.
This could become list of top 5 games.
I didn't put it on there because I forgot. Okay. It would have. I might have put it. Yeah, I would have put it probably 5.
Okay.
I put the Wemby game on there. The first time he'll ever be at the Garden. That was my number 5.
I think
because I think a lot of people are excited about him. He is the most exciting prospect since LeBron, really since Zion, since Ben Simmons. Like, there was a zillion guys that have come before this, and people are like, best prospect since LeBron. Ben Simmons was the next LeBron. Zion was hyped because everyone saw him doing dunks since he was 15.
I think Wemby's more hyped than the other two.
You tell me the Zion. I think Zion was more hyped than Ben Simmons for sure.
I think Zion was more hyped for the casual people. I think Wemby was more hyped for like people who actually pay attention.
Okay, that's fine.
If that makes sense.
But yes, San Antonio will be in town on January 17th. The Ime game will be January 13th, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. So that'll be your first time to ever see Wemby in person. If you buy tickets at the Garden, he'll be there, all 7'4", doing super cool dribbles. Wemby, by the way, not a great 3-point shooter percentage-wise. I was on Real GM just looking at stats when I was putting this article together, and I was like, wow, 28%. Not great. Not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But he does crazy things. He's going to probably make an impact on the defensive end. He's going to be able to do crazy things, block shots. One thing that Windhorst talked about, who was out there covering him in Paris for a while, is how he's able to recover so quickly. He can help on a guy driving on one side and then go close out on the weak side corner and actually be effective doing it. That's pretty crazy stuff. So you'll probably see stuff on the defensive end that you haven't seen before. But that's number 5. Number 4 had the Grant return. Did I? Yes, Grant return. Grant and Kyrie return. But
yeah,
first time Grant's coming back as a visiting player. It'll be interesting to see the reception that he gets. I think he should
get booed.
Nice.
He's going to get booed, though.
He shouldn't get booed, though.
I don't think so.
And this is coming from me. See, it has no merit when you say it, but when I say it, it has merit because I'm not biased. I think Grant truly gave his all. I think he was a good Celtic. I think he was a good figure in the community. I think he had good moments with the Celtics. It's just the bad ones really stuck out. And he's also like an easy target to make fun of. Like the I'm going to make both thing will never be beaten. That is the funniest Celtics loss I've ever seen. And he is responsible for that. So great job, Grant. He'll be back with Dallas. I want to say March 1st. He'll be back. And Kyrie will be there too. And I'm sure he'll get the opposite of a warm welcome.
Let me ask you this. And this is absolutely stupid because the answer is no. But we've seen it for others. Does Grant get one of those welcome back videos?
Yeah. Kelly Olynyk.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It might not be anything super special. But
you know what they should do? They should just play the clip of him making 7 threes against the Bucks. That should be the only thing in the entire video. That should be the whole video.
Him yelling at Jimmy.
Yeah.
No,
he'll get one.
Recency bias might make people upset now they think about it. I don't know.
He's
going to
get
what
booed.
you're going to get with Grant. I think Grant
he
deserves
gets
a warm welcome, though. I think he did everything he could.
I agree, but he's going to get booed. I'm telling you, he's going to get booed.
Grant's so wholesome, man. It's messed up. If you boo Grant, you're a bad person.
I agree.
Timmy G gets a pass because he was anti-Grant for 4 years, and he's finally won.
The casual people won't know Grant well enough to care, and then all the people who consistently watch the Celtics just hate Grant for no reason, so they're gonna boo him, and so it's just gonna be like half silence, half boos.
I think more people like him than you think, but I don't know because when we posted the videos about him, when we posted the trade video, a lot of people watched it for one, so people did care. But two,
for the wrong reason, probably.
After like a couple weeks, people were like, "Shut the fuck up about Grant. Stop talking about him."
Yeah, people don't like him.
I can see that too.
I'm telling you. I think people are out on Grant. Anyways, okay, what's number
next on the list?
4.
I have the home opener against Miami. That'll be October 27th. It is a conference finals rematch. It is a redemption game. Even though, for whatever reason, Miami has all of the qualifications of a rival. But I don't really get up for these games as much. Like I always get more excited for the Philly games. I get excited for the Lakers games, of course. Who else? The Knicks. Like I always have like a little extra edge just because I think they're annoying. It's not. I don't think it's a rivalry. Make no mistake. But I think their fans are annoying as hell. So I just want to see them get beat by the Celtics.
See, I like the Miami games. I don't know.
I hate
enjoy them.
They're the worst. They're an irritating team to have your team play against. You have that fat bastard Lowry flopping all over the place. You have the random guys they pick up off the street. It'll be Champagny this year that makes all this shots. But anyways,
I think the fact that you dislike
Garden.
I think the fact that you dislike them so much makes it a rivalry. Like I don't know if there is a team in the NBA whose players you hate more than the Heat.
No, wrong. Lakers. LeBron.
That's one guy.
LeBron, Anthony Davis. He's a rat. Kyrie is just himself, I guess. I don't really hate.
Okay, let me ask you this then. If those two were in another jersey, would you hate them more than the entire Heat roster still? No. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I probably would.
I don't think so. I think it's because they're wearing purple and gold, which is fair. Like, obviously.
LeBron, no. LeBron, no, for sure. Anthony Davis, maybe, but I still don't like the way the whole thing went down when he was maybe going to get traded here and it was the crying.
I don't think there's another team who you hate more players on. Like, you can name off like half the Heat roster and say you dislike them.
I like Jimmy. Bam's fine. I think Lowry's a rat. Because of what happened in the conference finals, I don't like Caleb Martin now.
You don't like
Hero? Tyler Hero's annoying. But it's I don't know. It's like a different thing. It's not like I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I just think they're annoying. The only one like I don't like as a basketball player really is Lowry.
I
like
like the Heat games because I just feel like there's a little extra. I mean, the regular season, like November last year, Jimmy Butler put out a video of him on a private jet going, "Boston, I'm coming." Like they
Yeah.
don't like each other, and I don't know. I enjoy it. Anyways,
I mean, there was the
I
Tatum
get
video from last week. You do have a point. Like, I'm not disputing that it is a rivalry, but for whatever reason, to me, it's not like a game I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Like,
No,
give
I
me
know what
these
you mean.
guys. Like, it's not like
Mhm.
I'm not like I have to buy tickets to go see them play Miami.
I understand from that perspective, and I would say I probably do like Philly and other things more, but I do lump this in. Like I think this
Maybe
is
because it's
also
just
up there.
they always beat Philly, so it's like more.
Yeah,
It's like a safe thing. It's like this is gonna be fun, but it's gonna end well. Not
sure.
Miami.
No, I
Miami,
got you.
they're a real bitch to
I
play
got you.
against.
Fair enough. Yeah,
That's
I'm
October
I'm ready for the
27th.
Miami game, and then that was 3. All right, what's 2?
Number 2, Christmas against the Lakers.
Yep.
Honorable mention, Lakers at TD Garden. I always like the home games better for me. It's just more fun, crowds into it. But the Christmas Day game always has merit. It's probably the biggest stage of the regular season. The Celtics have the marquee spot at 5 p.m. And of course, playing against the Lakers is never any kind of game that you don't get up for. Last year, both games were great games. They both went into overtime. I believe the one out in LA went to double overtime. And they were both thrillers. Celtics swept them. They won both, but not without
Yep.
making us all sweat in pure Celtic fashion.
And not without LeBron James crying on the floor.
There was something that happened, and I needed that video, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna like tweet like me when I like go out on the highway and they're doing road work when the sun's out.
The best part about that was like LeBron obviously overreacted and he got memed. He was right though. That was the clearest foul you've ever
He should
seen.
have got a
in your life.
tech. No
Man.
other player on the planet could do that and not get a tech.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then 1.
That might even be a double tech. The Marcus Smart game's number 1. Obvious. It's the game that everybody was looking forward to finding out when it's going to be. I'm kind of interested for this one because I saw somebody reply to a tweet. I think it might have been Timmy's tweet when he like posted the Photoshop of like Marcus in the Grizzlies jersey between Tatum and Brown and was like February 4th is the date for this game. And the first comment was like Marcus is going to get like the best ovation ever. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's true. But I also think it might be somewhat true. Like I think people really care about this. But I don't know if he deserves the best ovation that there's ever been at TD Garden. Like the Paul Pierce game when he came back with Garnett was a big one. His last game was a great one. The jersey retirement for Pierce and Garnett. I think besides those guys, he'll get the nicest reception as a returning player. But besides that, I can't really think of anybody that's going to get more than Marcus. I'm just so curious what they're going to do for him. I feel like it might become like, it depends how the Celtics season goes, of course, but it might almost become like a hostility towards the front office thing. If things aren't going well and this happens where he comes back and people are like, why would you do this?
Maybe. I'm excited for him to do his backward shot again. That's what he'll get.
I thought about that the other day,
big
really.
cheer.
I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, it's sad, right? No, yeah, he'll get a big cheer. The tickets for the game are pricey. They
I
are.
haven't looked since the first day.
The cheapest one on SeatGeek right now, which if you'd like to get a ticket to Marcus Smart game, make sure you use code HBTC if it's your first purchase at SeatGeek.
Correct.
$20 off.
We never plug it, but it's always there.
Always on the screen. $160 is the base price I see for each ticket up in the balcony.
Oof.
I think that might be before, obviously, like fees and stuff too. But
Well,
I don't know.
I paid $330 to go see Garnett get his jersey retired. So that's probably what it's going to be price wise to go to this game.
Per ticket?
Yes, but I only bought mine.
Sure, yeah.
But I sat in the corner loge. I wasn't up top.
Oh, okay.
I was
160. 160 is like corner balcony.
I know it's to get in. Make no mistake. But
yeah, very pricey for that. Those are the top 5 games as written up by Sam for Celtics blog of the new schedule. So figured we'd go over those for you guys. Go check it out. Next thing we have is Jaylen Brown saying thank you to his all NBA voters. I believe it was Chris Mannix who put out this tweet of Jaylen Brown, who wrote a letter to his all NBA voters. And I'm going to go find it real quick because I don't have it. But basically, he was just thanking his all NBA voters. He was like, hey, this is a letter. I know you guys have a duty that you didn't really ask for to, vote all NBA in. And I appreciate you thinking of me with your vote and taking account for it. And yeah, so he wrote this. Chris Mannix tweeted, "Classy note arrived today from Jaylen Brown," and just saying like, thank you, as the tweet's not loading on my screen, which is really pissing me off right now because Bleacher Report decides not to load my tweet because ad block is on. This isn't okay. This is infuriating. I'm pulling it up on YouTube. This is just gonna be Jack complains for a second. What are we doing, Bleacher Report? Look at this. What is this? Why is this on my screen? Just pull up the tweet. Why, like, can we not? That's ridiculous. It was Mike Singer, not Chris Mannix. Mike Singer of the Denver Post shared this, which came from Jaylen Brown. Obviously, his juice logo at the top. It's on the screen now if you're watching on YouTube. "Dear Mike, I wanted to thank you for your All-NBA vote this past season. I recognize the power and weight of the current system of All-NBA voting and the impact it has on players like me in the current NBA. I also recognize that it is not something any journalist like yourself signed up for. Nonetheless, I know you took the time to consider all your worthy candidates and appreciate your vote. Wishing you and your family the best this upcoming offseason, and thank you again. Best, Jaylen Brown." And he signed the note. Obviously, All-NBA was the reason Jaylen Brown was able to get the massive contract extension that he signed. And this just had me wondering, because we've heard Jayson Tatum complain about the All-NBA voting process in the past. Yep. When he made third team instead of another team a couple years ago, because some votes were him as a guard. It was like a weird thing where he didn't get higher up on the All-NBA scale. Or maybe there was one year he just didn't make it too, I think. So
there was
something.
No.
Yeah.
He needed to make it. I think it might have been the final year of his rookie contract.
Yeah.
And I think Randall got in over him. And he ended up losing like $20 million total over his extension because of that.
And my question to that is, should this impact player contracts? And I think it's twofold, because I think All-NBA and All-Star things and all these awards are a good way to impact that. I think the issue is, should the media members be able to determine that? And I think that's where the issue comes in. But at the same time, who else is going to vote for it? It's weird. I think they need to find a better way of impact, whether it's, statistical impact on winning, looking at the actual production that the players had on the court. Maybe that's what they need to look at, because at the end of the day, this is a subjective award, right? Like, it just is. So maybe you find some sort of, there's not going to be a perfectly objective way to do it, but looking at the stats, looking at the impact, looking at that sort of stuff, the analytics maybe is a better way, because at least that's something they have better control over. I don't know. It's just a little weird. And not to point this out, but like, you could have somebody who just has a bias against a certain player. Like, if you had an All-NBA vote, you'd never vote for Zach LaVine just because you don't like him.
Randall would not get a vote. Zach LaVine would not get a vote.
Exactly. But I think
at the same time, I think media members having votes should be a thing. Now, should there be votes coming from players or coaches or other people within the league? Maybe. Here's the reason why that might not work, is because if a player or coach gets to make the votes, then they may have some ulterior motive. Not that media members don't.
I was going to say,
if you're the coach of it, let's say the Celtics, right? Say Joe Mazzulla gets an All-NBA vote. He's obviously going to vote Jaylen Brown, not only because and he sees him play 82 games a year and at practice and how he works, but also in a situation like this one, it impacts the future of your team. So if you have, like, it's almost like collusion, where teams can literally impact how their future goes, or maybe the Celtics don't want to pay him and they didn't want to have to pay the Supermax. Like, it might go the other way. So I think media members, though they may have a bias, may have the least possible bias than people that are actually in these organizations, because media members technically are supposed to be unbiased. That's how it's supposed to go. If you go sit up top of the garden, you're not supposed to clap. You're not. You're not supposed to make noise.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that you don't know. You've done it more times than me, but the one time I went, I like clapped when they won the tip, and I was like told, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's how it's supposed to be. So I understand why media members get a vote on this. I think media members are well-informed people that are somewhat like bipartisan. That's the correct
I don't know. My thing is, like, there's
got
got
to
to
impact the contract. Maybe
I don't think there's got to be some more objective way to impact contracts, especially because, like, you look at the All-NBA voting, right? I have the list of every single vote, every single person who had an All-NBA vote, and like, some of these people have Tatum on second team and Jimmy on first team. What is your argument for the regular season that Jimmy Butler deserved first team over Jayson Tatum?
I don't know.
Genuinely, like, and this is like,
What's
what
the
do we-
alternative though?
Jayson Tatum was very clearly a better.
No, but what's the alternative to media members?
I don't know. That's the issue.
Fan
Maybe you have to
voting,
weigh
then
in.
Boban's on the first team.
Maybe you have to weigh it. Maybe you have to have players and coaches and media members cast a vote, and then you pull it together, right? Because that's what you do for all-stars and coaches. Like, you have every single possible thing cast a vote, so it's not just media members. Like, there were people, like, I can't remember if it was last year or something. Jokic didn't make an All-NBA team one of these past seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something obscene. Like, and that's just irresponsible. And this is like, and obviously it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because Jokic had enough votes, but if enough people forget about Jaylen Brown, he's gonna miss out on 30 million. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that doesn't sit well with me in terms of contract, because like all it'll take is saying enough people disliking Jaylen Brown or forgetting to put him on the ballot, or he'll just be like lose millions and millions and millions of dollars because people like, oh, sorry, I forgot about it, my bad, you know, I was having an off day that day, I forgot to cast my vote. That's the part that's just like, I don't know. I
think it's a valid issue. Like, it's a valid gripe. It's not something we shouldn't talk about, but like, I don't know what the alternative is. I think the all-star voting is a crapshoot, so you shouldn't go after that. Like, you should not replicate that. I think this is fair. You have well-informed people making the votes. I understand there are people with a bias, like the people putting Jimmy over Tatum for a regular season vote. Sure. Like, I get that. It's fair. It's a fair, like, thing to have an issue with. But at the same time, it's just like, they watch all the games. They're supposed to know all this stuff. They're supposed to have an idea of the league. It's their job. Maybe you elect the brightest ones to a council. I don't know. Maybe Adam Silver just puts out a list.
I think it should be a mix. I think coaches, executives, and media members and players should all get a vote, because then it's at least balanced a little bit from every perspective. It's just a mess. That's just what it is. It's whack.
A good amount of us in the media are just fans with keyboards.
There's a fair number, but at the same time, there's also haters with keyboards. Like, there's just as many of those people.
There should be.
Anyway, I just think there should be a better way. I think all NBA voting is fine, and it is what it is, but it shouldn't impact how much these players can earn.
I think at the end of the day, the message here is it's cool that Jaylen Brown said thank you.
Yes, it is very nice.
I don't know if players really do that. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. This is a very grounded thing from Jaylen Brown to do.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
This is the summer of Jaylen, where he's just like, wow, this guy, like, everything he does is like, wow, this guy's a great guy.
What a summer. Good for Jaylen Brown. Speaking of the Jays, let's move on over to Jayson Tatum, who worked out with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce has been very, very vocal this summer, making sure to stay in the news with Dwayne Wade and all this other stuff. I think he talked about Harden too, very briefly, or whatever it was. He's been saying a lot of stuff, but he was working out with Paul Pierce, or with Jayson Tatum, I should say. Paul Pierce and Jayson Tatum working out together. I think it was on Tatum's Instagram story. I'll share the screen here for those of you watching on YouTube. Jayson Tatum posted this to his Snapchat story. Reposted something from Nick's Instagram. I don't even know what this is. Okay. You see Tatum here. You see Paul Pierce here. I think that's Brett Hampton maybe in the back. Shout out Brett Hampton. Hanging out. He's working out together, which is very fun to see. I think there was a video as well of them two working out. Ooh, Jim.
Well, There's video of Jayson Tatum. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there he is. Come on. Don't disrespect like that. And wait, we'll pan over. There he is. See? They're together. Come on.
I just love the still picture he posts is just Paul Pierce sitting there.
Truth got the JTs on. Posted to
the same ones.
Posted to Twitter as well and Instagram and all these socials. But yeah, Paul Pierce, Jayson Tatum forming a relationship. Something we've seen in the past. We've seen KG and Paul Pierce sit down with the Jays. How important is it for these guys, you think, to mentor Tatum and Brown and these people?
I think it's great. I wish there was more of it, to be honest with you. If you didn't get to see it, Pierce and Garnett went to the practice facility mid-season this year, talked to all these guys.
I still don't think I watched the whole thing because I'm a ball.
Really? Oh, yeah. It was nice. And like they had conversations with the players on the teams. And you can tell, like, Paul Pierce goes in all the time. Like, that he's like a Celtic. He has really embraced that. So he's always kind of involved. He's always at these games.
Game 7 last year, I think, the Heat series. They just finished press conferences. They just finished it up. And everyone was like leaving the press room. Paul Pierce just runs in the room. He goes, "Trouble's in the building," and he starts screaming in the press conference room to like Scal and Mark Spears and all these people. It was very funny, but he is one of the most invested former players, I would say. Like obviously, like you can think some like this sounds funny because they've been connected. Scal, I'm talking like around the league in general. Like it sounds funny because they've been connected, but Dwayne Wade is very connected with the Heat, even though he's a part owner of the Jazz.
Yeah, he owns the Jazz. So.
But you can tell he has the impact on those Heat players, talking about Jimmy and stuff and everybody. But like you think around the league, like how many players are just constantly still around their team, like Paul Pierce is with the Celtics? And there are probably examples that I'm not realizing because I'm just so invested in and pay attention to the Celtics. But it's a cool thing to see. It's a cool thing to see.
I like that. I wish there was more of it. I think there's value in it. I like when Pierce goes to the games. He's there quite a bit compared to like, I mean, name another former Celtic you see sitting courtside. It just kind of doesn't happen.
Yeah, not often. Not often at all. It's good though. I mean, I enjoy seeing him hanging out with Tatum. I enjoy him and Garnett hanging out with Jaylen, all that stuff. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it experience or insight or whatever it is. Like, what do you think? Is it just Tatum saying like, okay, this guy knows how to win in Boston, let's hang out with him? Or what is are they just friends or what
I'm sure they can bond over having played basketball for the same franchise and
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's good. It's
good, there's value in talking to somebody that's done your job before. I would say yes. Yeah.
This is true. All right. The next thing we have, Joe Mazzulla turns UFC is what I have on the show sheet.
It's been in the works for a while. That article came out of him liking to get choked out at jiu-jitsu to clear his mind or whatever he does.
So this story came out. Zhang Weili, and apologies if that's pronouncing correctly, is the strawweight champion of the UFC women's division right now. And she is defending her title against Amanda Lemos. Again, I don't know how to pronounce these names. Apologize. At UFC 292, which is going to be at TD Garden on Saturday, which is today as we're recording this, and yesterday when this drops. And apparently she met Joe Mazzulla at her gym at the UFC Performance Institute. I'll share the screen again for those of you watching on YouTube. Posted a picture of them to Instagram, of them hanging out. Joe Mazzulla in his UFC gear, her training, obviously. And in the comments said, "I didn't know basketball coaches like jiu-jitsu. Welcome to the world of MMA, coach. If you can make it, you're invited to join us at UFC 292 in Boston." And then follow up, he said yes. He said no originally because there was a conflict in his schedule, but now he's going to be going and joining the UFC strawweight champion in her corner at UFC 292, which is just maybe the most random story there is. Just Joe Mazzulla being in the corner. Like people who go to UFC 292 and TD Garden, there should be like, why is Joe Mazzulla chilling?
What will
in the
his
corner?
reception be like? Will he get booed or cheered?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. This popped up on the Bleacher Report feed, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. And I wanted to here.
He's gonna say try and throw knockout shots every single time. It's the equivalent of shoot more threes. Because if you hit one, it's gonna go well for you. This is kind of cool. It's August. He doesn't have a whole lot to be doing. Mazzulla, again, has had an interest in this kind of stuff for a little while. The article came out about him doing the jiu-jitsu. So, cool. Cool he wants to be involved. Cool he wants to be kind of a figure in the city. Also, Dana White is a big Celtics guy. He's been at games courtside and stuff like that. Why are you confused? This is a well-known thing.
Sorry. No. So, I was looking up. Do you remember when the banners that said like welcome Joe Mazzulla were like in the north end of like him for like some wrestling thing?
Yeah.
So I tried to look that up on Twitter. So I typed into Twitter North End Mazzulla, right? Because that's what I figured would pop up.
Correct.
And this was the first thing that popped up. I think that's Joe Mazzulla sitting next to Steph Curry.
It sure is.
What is this?
Is this when he broke the 3-point record?
Yes. But that doesn't explain why Joe Mazzulla is hanging out with Steph Curry. This is the most random thing I've seen.
He looks pretty upset that he doesn't have whatever Steph's having.
This was 2 years ago, too. This was 2021.
Yeah.
So this is a very odd. I had no idea. I searched Mazzulla North End. I was trying to find the picture, but I found a picture of Joe Mazzulla and Steph Curry hanging out together, which is something I didn't expect to see. But yeah, very cool. And the other reason I thought of that, I was looking at Steph Curry. This has really been the summer of NBA people doing non-NBA stuff for just like in general.
You gonna
And
poke
I
his
thought of
rap?
no.
Cool
Did
rap?
you see the video of Steph Curry going on stage with Paramore at Chase Center?
I saw that it happened. I did not
It was
watch
so
it.
funny. They just count him off, and he just starts singing the song, and the Chase Center goes nuts. And somebody tweeted, as soon as Steph Curry took the mic, it became the Steph Curry concert, not the Paramore concert, because that's all people cared about.
That is tough. Like you probably got upstage, like we're excited to play an arena, and then nobody talked about your concert. They just talked about Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, there's a difference between like the best players and most famous. Steph Curry has to be a top 5 most famous basketball player ever, right? Like absolutely.
Probably.
Like it's Jordan, LeBron, then probably Steph at 3. I'm probably forgetting people, but I mean the impact Steph has had. Like
Kareem.
he might be the most actually I don't know who came out of San Francisco, but right now, like walking around San Francisco, you'd be hard pressed to find a more famous person and more well-loved person than Steph Curry. It's hard because obviously you gotta from the Celtics perspective, like he beat them in the finals. I don't hate Steph Curry though. Like it's really
I
hard
hate the
to
Celtics
dislike.
for losing that finals. Like the
Exactly.
Celtics are losers. Like they should have won that series. They're good for like once every 2 weeks.
I know. My point is Steph Curry's got to be one of the least hateable people in the NBA, unfortunately. Yeah, speaking of once every 2 weeks, Sam and I hadn't talked in like 8 hours the other day, randomly, right? Like we finished recording at like 2 or 7 or whatever it was. We just finished recording that today. I just get a text from Sam. I can't believe these motherfuckers lost the finals. Bums. It's just like midnight. No context.
I don't remember why. Like I was like in some thought chain, like of just like thinking about stuff, and I was like, wow, I really just can't believe that didn't happen.
It did not happen.
I mean, Al Horford went on the Redick pod and they were talking about it. Redick was like, yeah, okay, I guess Boston's gonna win. And then they didn't close game 4.
They did not. Steph Curry happened, and the Celtics happened.
No, the Celtics shot 1,000,000 threes is what happened. And Steph Curry made them pay.
Steph,
they had no offense in the last 8 minutes of the game. They went up 5, cuts to commercial, timeout, come back. It's the meme of the guy trying to put the round peg in the square hole.
All right, no more finals. We're done. It's 2023. No more of that. Last kind of Celtics thing we have. Bleacher Report put out an article giving one word to describe every single team, their offseason, right? And we're going to go through, we're going to start with the Celtics, then we're going to transition to the NBA portion of our pod, and Sam's going to guess the word for every team. But
I like this.
I'll start with the Celtics. Sam, would you like to guess the word they used for the Celtics offseason?
The word.
Did I put it in the sheet? I didn't know I put it in the sheet. Sorry. Yeah, they used the word gamble for the Celtics. I forgot I put it in the sheet, which makes sense. I mean, that's exactly what happened. They traded Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis in a move that I've seen on Twitter often described as improving their playoff ceiling, but probably hurting their regular season ceiling, or just hurting like higher floor, lower, or higher ceiling, lower floor, which is true, I think.
I think this is the perfect word because I've said it a zillion times. They'd better win. They've pissed the hell out of me. They've pissed off half the fan base. And if this doesn't work out, people are going to remember it. It's a risky move, not only in the sense of you kind of gave up like a major asset, like just from a basketball perspective for a guy that's sometimes hurt a lot and he's already kind of hurt. If they don't capitalize on this move and they don't win a title, good luck. You're going to have a lot of people upset, a lot of people kind of out on your team after this if it doesn't go well. But if you win, you're forgiven. So good call, Bleacher Report. Absolutely a gamble.
There we go. Shout out Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report.
Their whole offense is just a gamble. Shoot a bunch of threes.
You're the worst. We can't get through an entire show. You should fuck off. All right. We're going to have, as we mentioned, Sam guess every word for every team and see if he can figure out how their offseason went down.
All right.
And we'll change it to the NBA color here. This will start the NBA section of our show. And we'll start. I'm just going to go in order of this since ABC order. The Hawks.
The Hawks. What did they do? They traded John Collins
for Rudy Gay.
Their offseason.
They got Patty Mills, I think. Kind of.
Don't care. Offseason, maybe finally that they traded John Collins.
Underwhelming. You should have gone with your emotion.
I was gonna say bleh. That was my other word. Just whatever. Like
Not great. We won't spend too long. There's 30 teams. We're just gonna roll through them. Brooklyn Nets. What do you describe their offseason?
Brooklyn
They
Nets
got
re-signed Cam Johnson.
Lonnie Walker came to town. Trendon Watford signed a contract. Dennis Smith Jr.
Are there any repeat words?
No. Maybe, but this isn't a repeat word.
This is not a repeat.
No.
Mandatory. Kind of
Maybe
had
a-
to.
Maybe a synonym. Mediocrity.
Yeah.
Synonym.
Mandatory.
Word,
you had to re-sign Cam Johnson.
Yep.
It felt like to make your Durant trade worth it,
Mm.
and you didn't do a whole lot else. So yeah.
Yeah. Charlotte
Plus
Hornets.
Ben
Now,
Simmons.
not right. Not on there. Charlotte Hornets. Not all of these are adjectives either. Some of them are like nouns. Like this is what the pillar of a season. So maybe that's a clue. But Hornets. What is their
What did you
their
say?
one word? Not all of these words are like.
I heard that
descriptors, like,
part.
Some of them are nouns. Like they are describing one thing that happened, like the person or the thing that came into town. So it's not just
So it's Brandon Miller.
it's wingman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want you to start guessing adjectives. So
Okay. All right.
yeah. But yeah, wingman. Brandon Miller's in town with LaMelo Ball. Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give this one away too because Greg Swartz just went on thesaurus.com. It's monotonous. He just looked up
Yeah.
synonyms for underwhelming and mediocrity.
Yeah, who cares? You paid Vucevic an extension when he's not going to help you win. Zach LaVine's making a ton of money.
Javon Carter.
Even though you
Greg
do like
Vine.
some of the moves the Bulls made, like they kept their guys around, but at the same time, that group is not making the playoffs.
The Bulls
So,
get the ratless because they took two high impact playoff caliber rotation players for a team that's not
To
gonna
hang
be in the
out.
playoffs. Yeah, literally. So that's the Bulls. Cleveland Cavaliers. What's their word? They got
they
Max
signed
Strus.
George Niang. They traded Chetty Osman,
You got Max Strus.
Max Strus. Shooters.
Modernized. Yes. I'll give you
Yes.
that. You take that. I genuinely think Max Strus and George Niang could really improve the ceiling of that team because their offense was lost in the final in the playoffs last year. Like they had nothing. And I know if the Celtics are shoot too many threes, the Cavs are please God get 3-point shooters because it didn't turn out too well for
They
them.
should just form one team.
Dallas Mavericks. Oh, you're gonna like this word. It's not make them both.
I don't know.
But,
Because I think the Mavs had a good offseason.
I do too. But that is not the vibe of this word. I'll tell you. that.
Really?
Yeah.
Mediocre? No, we already had that one.
Trapped.
Trapped?
Kyrie
Fair.
Irving. Trapped. Yeah. The Mavericks were forced to bid against themselves for Kyrie or losing for nothing. Yep. There you go. All right. Denver Nuggets. Offseason. One word. What do we got? They
Downgrade?
weakened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost Bruce Brown, lost Jeff Green, signed Justin Holiday to replace them. So definitely not ideal.
And then
for the Denver
Concar
Nuggets.
tore his ACL. So that's another
Conchar
wing
did
they
tear
don't
his
have.
ACL. Very true. Detroit Pistons, the offseason moves being re-signing Isaiah Stewart, adding Asar Thompson, adding Joe Harris, adding Monte Morris, a couple veterans on the roster.
TikTok. It's time to go, Pistons.
Promising is the word Greg
Yeah.
Sports went with. But I understand what you're saying. It's been a couple years. Golden State Warriors traded Jordan Poole for Chris Paul.
Cluster.
Lost DiVincenzo.
Or cleanse.
Aging.
Aging.
Swapped out young Jordan Poole for old Chris Paul. Iguodala retired. DiVincenzo left. They signed Corey Joseph and Dario Saric, which is fine. But there you go. Houston Rockets. Sam, what do you got?
Overpay.
Splurged. They used the
Same
kinder
thing.
word.
I was right. Well, that's a hit the bell. I was right on that one.
We'll
Dylan
take
Brooks,
it.
bunch of money. Fred VanVleet, bunch of money. When they really I don't think they had to, right? I know there's some cap rule where they have to spend X amount of dollars for a season.
Mhm.
Like they can't go under that either. But they did not need to do this. Like
No.
they have drafted a bunch of backcourt players and then they spend a bunch of money on 2 backcourt players. Why?
Not great. Not great for the Rockets. Indiana Pacers.
Pacers.
Got Bruce Brown.
Jarris Walker.
Drafted Jarris Walker. Signing Halliburton to a 5-year extension.
Cemented.
Ascending. Close.
Okay.
Understandable. Same thing. I really like the Pacers, man. I think it's just because I'm a Halliburton fan. I know you are too. I really like
They
the
were good when
Pacers, though.
Halliburton played last year.
They're fun.
Can't
They're
dispute
real
it.
fun. Agreed. And they kind of screwed the Nuggets. They gave Bruce Brown a really big contract, but it's only for like 1 year with the team option. Like
That's
were
a good
smart.
contract too, because they had money to burn. It's not long term, so they're not tied to him. And they got a guy that just impacted a title team. So good job,
Yeah.
Indiana.
Good for Indiana. Clippers re-signed Russell Westbrook, got Kobe Brown, and traded for Kenyon Martin.
I would say trapped with them. I would say incomplete.
Stagnant. Same thing. Not much going on. Lakers got lost Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, Toscano Anderson, Thomas Bryant, Jamian Jones. However, re-signed Hachimura, re-signed Austin Reeves, got Gabe Vincent, Torian Prince, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, and re-signed D'Angelo Russell. What do you got? Unbiased.
Unbiased? I think they revamped.
Vindicated is the word they use because they had a terrible offseason the past 2 years and they finally figured out a way to get it right, I think kind of is the point here. Memphis Grizzlies, and please don't overthink it.
Memphis Grizzlies?
Adjective.
Smart.
Yes. There we go. I'm glad. Yeah, it's just, he says, is there any other word to describe what the Grizzlies did this summer? Smart.
No.
There you go. Miami Heat. Offseason.
Heat. They did Heat stuff. They drafted a kid that people are high on in the draft. They brought in Justin Champagnie so he can all of a sudden be a superstar.
Josh Richardson, Thomas Bryant.
Josh Richardson, who played for the Heat.
Actually, bigger picture, argument. Though. Bigger picture.
Bigger picture? I don't know.
Incomplete. It's a picture
Incomplete game. With Dame, I guess. Yeah.
That's what they went with. Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks, return, something like that. Recover or
satisfactory.
Retain. Yeah.
Satisfactory. Yeah. Got Middleton and Lopez back. Re-signed Jay Crowder. Brought in Malik Beasley, which is pretty good signing for them. But they did lose Javon Carter and Joe Ingles. It is what it is. Signed for them. Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a weird one.
What the hell they do? Nothing.
They brought in Troy Edwards. They brought in Troy Brown. And the reason I said Troy Edwards, because the word is superstar, and it's talking about Anthony Edwards, re-signing to a 5-year max, his performance at Team USA. He really needs to be the star for them, though. I'm over the Towns there. He's just not the star anymore. It's the Anthony Edwards show. It's the Edwards show. All right. New Orleans Pelicans.
Weight loss. Slimming.
Uneventful is what they went with. Lost Jackson Hayes and Josh Richardson. Don't worry, though. They replaced them with Jordan Hawkins and Cody Zeller. So there you go.
Jordan Hawkins could be a good player.
He could be. Cody Zeller was the point that was making there with that.
He does not look like somebody that plays in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Knicks, and this is a word you probably could get if you thought hard, but you probably won't because it's a little out there. It is Wildcat. Yeah. Good call. Re-signed Josh Hart, brought in DiVincenzo. Knicks are gonna be good. They got a good team. They got to
they're gonna be competitive. I don't know if they're gonna be good. Like
when I say good, I mean top 6. I think they'll be a top 6 team in the East.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they did last year.
I didn't say great. I said good. They'll be fine. They'll be a good team. Shout out Andrew, who Andrews keeps telling us in the comments how good RJ Barrett's been playing. Good.
Yeah, it's weird. He's actually playing well outside of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, good for RJ. I like
because
RJ
nobody's
Barrett.
watching.
Thunder. OKC. What are we thinking?
I mean, I think Chet, but I don't really know. Like it feels like they're gonna have to go and clean out the closet soon. They have too many
arrives.
Clothes.
It says arrives.
So it's Chet.
Chet Holmgren coming to town. They signed Vasilij Micic. Oladipo could help them off the bench too. Casey Wallace looks nasty. It's just
he just tore his patella 2 months ago.
I'm reading the article.
Is that what this guy said?
He said the additions of Micic, Bertans, and Oladipo should provide some veteran help.
Tech for Greg Schwartz.
Orlando Magic.
Tech.
Orlando Magic.
I don't know what the word is, but it's time. It's time for them too. TikTok.
Schwartz said congested. Talking
That's
about
also true. Trade Markelle Fultz to the Celtics.
This is true. He said, we're already at a full 10-man rotation without even accounting for Isaac, Mo Wagner, Okiki, Batadze, or Caleb Houston. Talking about Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Wendell Carter. Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Jet Howard, Ingles, Gary Harris. Like they have a lot of guys who should probably get some minutes on their team. And yeah, Philadelphia 76ers. What's the word?
Disaster. Harden.
Yes.
Chinese.
Yes. That's the word. It was disaster.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you read this or did you just
No, I didn't read
Yeah.
this. If I read this, I would have got all of them right.
I don't know if you just looked at the Sixers.
If
I was
I had read
surprised.
this, you would have said, "Did you read this?" Probably 3 picks in.
Well, I mean, it was. What are the chances you get the exact word? Other options include train wreck, implosion, or catastrophe.
I thought about catastrophe because I thought Philly would be first
Yeah.
if they went like alphabetical by mascot or team name instead
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
city.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, like I wonder what theirs is.
Yeah, disaster for the excuse me for the 76ers. Obviously, the James Harden stuff is really kicking their ass right now. We'll talk about it plenty later. I think the rest of our NBA portion of our programming will be Harden, so don't worry, we'll get into it. Phoenix Suns. What do you got?
Assemble. Avengers assemble. They brought in
Aggressive.
Bradley Beal. Yeah.
Aggressive, same thing. Got the Suns.
The funny part is they just have like their 4 good players and then the rest of their team. That's it.
Hey, annoyingly enough, though, the rest of the team's pretty good. Like they got some okay players for their
That's
bench.
what happens when you
which
have
is
good
frustrating.
players. Is people are like, oh yeah, I'll come play for you for free.
That is what happens. Portland Trailblazers. What do you got?
Dame, annoying, changing of the guard, transition.
Transformation. There you
Yeah.
go. Same thing. Sacramento Kings. What are we thinking?
Don't care.
Continuity. Same.
Yeah,
Same
sure.
thing. San Antonio Spurs.
Wemby.
Generational. Generational. Yeah. It's all about Wembanyama. Toronto Raptors.
Mid or like pick a side.
Disoriented is what Schwartz went with. Utah Jazz. What
What
are
the hell
we
did Utah
thinking?
do?
John Collins for free.
Trade.
Ambitious. Ambitious is what they went with. And then Washington Wizards.
Chinese.
Inevitable.
Inevitable.
Finally. Inevitable.
I'm really mad I didn't get to use Chinese. I should have did it for Houston.
That would have been good. But yeah, that was Sam guessing all the words.
Do you remember when Houston had those alternates with the Chinese font on there?
Yes, I do. I remember.
Imagine if they had those today. People would love that. Like people would, if they had Chinese alternates, every time somebody sucked, that would be the new meme. Like they would like go on the NBA custom store and like put that guy's name on the jersey.
I remember that because Fareed was wearing them in the highlight video we watched. So there's that. I love Fareed. I hope the Celtics get him. Anyways, all right. We're going to spend the rest of our NBA section outside of Sam's Reddit post, but we're going to talk about James Harden. We have a bunch of different bullet points about James Harden. I'm just going to let me read all of the stuff that's happening, then we will discuss. All right. Let me run through quick. I'm not going to read this bar for bar. I'm just going to read this. The NBA,
mind you, this is an essay for those wondering.
It's a lot. I'm going to summarize this. This, and we're going to talk about it. So Woj and Ramona Shelburne of ESPN are reporting the NBA have launched an investigation, or an inquiry, I should say, into the circumstances surrounding James Harden's admonishment of the Sixers, basically the video saying everything has happened. Harden has taken every opportunity to shit talk Philadelphia. He said the relationship is unfixable, all that stuff.
That's very true.
So basically the league is trying to figure out if Harden is planning on holding out for the season, or he's just referencing past contract discussions with the Sixers and getting mad about it. Harden has privately indication that his comments calling Morey a liar and said that he has no interest was just a response to Morey ending trade discussions with an expectation that Harden will just come with the Sixers. Neither the Sixers or Harden would be in violation of any guidelines if that is what happens. Philadelphia informed Harden that it hadn't figured out. We know all this, no trade things. Nothing came up. And sources say Harden plans to report to training camp, which I don't believe for a second. Despite public speculation, Harden has made no allegations of a previous handshake agreement with the Sixers on a future contract. Obviously, you talked about all this stuff. Mark Stein also came in and reported the NBA wants to know what Morey lied about, like what happened there. Also worth noting that the Sixers were already punished for tampering last year with their second-round pick. So if more stuff comes out that they had like a handshake agreement, this could just be terrible for the Sixers because all this is coming out. Something from Vincent Goodwill is saying that this is another interesting thing we can talk about, saying Morey wants first round picks. He doesn't even want
Are
Terrence
they going
Mann.
to do the process again?
He just wants picks. He basically wants the
Trust the
7-year rule.
process. It's back.
He wants like 28 and 27 and 29 picks, like future picks from the Clippers, basically in this thing. He wants more than the productivity of man. And then another thing that came out, Reggie Miller talking about James Harden. Joel Embiid was the MVP last year, correct? Have you ever heard of somebody not wanting to play with the MVP? How could someone want out from playing against,
Saw it on Twitter.
excuse me, from playing with
Kyrie.
the MVP? What do you say? Yes, he defended Harden.
Yeah. No, Kyrie didn't want to play with LeBron.
Oh, true. But yeah, it's a lot, and I think the Sixers are screwed. I don't know what's happening with Harden. My thing is, though, to Reggie Miller's point, this is Harden's best chance to win he's probably ever had in his career. Something had to have happened that just really pissed him off, and I don't know what it was. And I'm not saying it's completely the Sixers' fault or completely Harden's fault, but I can't say I'm upset about it because this is very funny to watch from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, it kind of rules because Philly is almost definitely going to be worse next year. That's one less team that's going to be up towards the top of the East. It's kind of been overdue for some team to drop off, but at the same time, all of the better teams have been competitive and they have good players that are on the younger side. So it doesn't feel like anybody else is going to drop off anytime soon. Maybe Milwaukee as those supporting players get older. But as far as the stuff that is in front of me on this show sheet, like official takeaway, if Harden is upset that they didn't trade him, he is completely 100% in the wrong. Because again, if you didn't want to be on the Sixers, you didn't have to opt into the final year of your contract. End of discussion. I don't really care about the rest.
I disagree. I disagree with you.
We
went over this. We did this our entire life.
I literally don't care. Nope, don't care. Like, you don't want to be on the team? Don't opt in. Simple.
What if it was this, though? And we did this last show. What if it was Harden saying, I don't want to be here anymore? But because starting at the beginning, Harden and Daryl Morey had a good relationship. They did, objectively. He came to Philly, got off the private jet, gave him a hug.
Partly because of that.
Yes. And he helped him last summer too. Remember, Harden was like, I'll take a pay cut. We bring in these guys. What if Harden went to Daryl Morey? And I don't know if this happened. This is the only reason I'm not fully on your side saying, yeah, James Harden's an idiot, right? Because if this happened, then I'm with James Harden. I'm like, I understand. What if James Harden said, Daryl, I don't want to be here anymore. I would like to join the Clippers. For whatever reason, right? And you can disagree with the idea of that because it's stupid, I think, because whatever. He went to him and like, I want to play for the Clippers. I will, obviously I want to make my money, but if you're not going to entertain a trade, I will just join the Clippers and find a way to get myself there. But if you want to get something for me, trade me the Clippers, take some assets and go on your way. And Daryl Morey's like, I appreciate that. Whatever, we'll get something. And then he's just like, he gets him back. He talks and he's like, actually, never mind. That's where I could say, okay, then you're an idiot.
I believe I saw something somewhere that said sign and trades don't work that way. Where it's a sign and trade, all of the term.
There's no sign and trade.
An opt-in and trade, whatever.
What do you mean?
If he's going to opt in and they're going to trade him, it's essentially a sign and trade.
No.
He signs an agreement to opt into the final year of his deal. He opts in. It's an opt-in and trade.
Okay.
I don't know why you looked at me like I had 10 heads.
Well, because that's not a sign and trade. The Celtics just did that this summer. I don't understand what the problem is.
It's very similar. I'm pretty sure all of that is like in agreement. Like there is a like document or something that goes in where that like all happens at once.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I'm not positive. I just think I saw it somewhere.
I know what you mean, though. And if that's the case,
that could be a factor to this. I do agree if he's trying to help them by getting something back for him, it's like admirable. But at the same time, we talked about this last time. There's a deadline for that. There's a reason why like Marcus Smart ended up getting traded in this Celtics deal because it was well known that there was a clock ticking on it.
Also fair.
I don't know. If he's just mad that they don't trade him because he wants to be traded, I don't feel bad. You should have just left. You had a chance to leave.
I also don't fully believe this entire ESPN report because this is, obviously something else we saw. I take it for a grain of salt because this is also telling us that Harden says he'll go to training camp, which I don't believe, right? I feel like the reason that more stuff didn't come out in this is because this stuff is the stuff that wouldn't get them in trouble with the NBA. there has to be more stuff behind the scenes between Daryl Morey and James Harden of stuff Morey said. I'm not saying Harden's a fucking angel, right? Like, I think he has a history with this, right? Like, obviously
Get ready to eat ice cream.
Should have handled it well.
Is essentially what we're seeing here, because he's going to get fat again.
I just don't think the Sixers have handled this well at all either. So I'm not going to completely blame James Harden. That's just my opinion.
Have done. I don't know what are they supposed to do.
I just think if I had to guess, and I don't know, it is something along the lines of saying, yes, we'll trade you, then backing out, or yes, we'll give you this extension and then backing out. And then that led to the trade situation. I just think there was some sort of miscommunication or lying, like James Harden said, where they said something and they doubled back on it, which they're allowed to do, but it's just.
Would you give Harden an extension?
It's just scummy. If you said you would, it's just a scummy thing to do. No, you're an asshole then. We can agree to disagree because I just don't agree with you. You can sit there and yell at me and make that face. I'm just not going to agree with you. I said I understand why they didn't do it. I just said it's a shitty thing to do, to say you will and then back out. That's all I'm saying.
We don't know how it's going to go. Harden didn't look great this year. He was dealing with injuries.
Promise in the first place. Then don't make the promise. Then don't say anything in the first place last summer. Then don't say, yes, we'll give it to you. And then say, actually, you were kind of not what we expected. So no, then just don't say anything. Just say, we'll see how it plays out. Easy.
Fine.
All right. And then last thing we got on the sheet is Sam's Reddit post today. What do you got for me today?
Reddit post. So today, scrolling through the NBA subreddit, stumbled upon this. Which position has the largest gap between the best of all time and second best of all time? Explanation, context. I feel like the shooting guard is the most common answer, but Kobe is frequently included in top 10 players of all time lists. I actually think there's a legitimate case for it being the power forward spot because Duncan is occasionally mentioned as a top 5 player of all time, and he's typically ranked in the 5 to 8 range, while Malone and Kevin Garnett are ranked in the 14 to 19 range. I've seen USA Today, ESPN, The Athletic. So in terms of NBA grades, where is the biggest dip off from the best guy at position X to the next player?
I will ask you this. Is Larry Bird a small forward or a power forward?
Small forward.
Okay, so it's not that. Because like if you count him as a power forward, then it's probably LeBron to the next, right? I don't think it's point guard because I think you could probably make an argument for Steph over Magic, even though I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's close enough, I guess, where Steph is like kind of knocking on the door of the top 10 if he's not in it for a lot of people.
I think you might be right. I think it might just be the power forward position. Like, it's also weird because like Tim Duncan played center for a lot of his career, but he is primarily known as a power forward. And the next power forward, like I'm just looking at, this is like complex list, right? It's random. The next best power forward behind Tim Duncan is Kevin Garnett. You're right, at like 15.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never thought about it. Like
definitely not the center spot because there's
no
Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell, Shaq. Like all these guys are always in the top 10. Small forward, LeBron, Larry Bird,
Durant.
After that, I guess
right
there's a drop off. Dr. J's there, Kevin Durant,
KD. Yeah.
Shooting guard. I don't know. Mike and Kobe. People love to put Kobe high up.
I mean, he's top 10 at the very least. I don't think there's another power forward in the top 10 if that's what you want to make the argument in.
I'm such a moron for just bringing this up because I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get into this.
You could have picked anything.
Yeah, I could have picked anything.
Do you want to go pick another one? You want to find another one quick that you want to talk about too?
Okay.
This isn't even the first one you saw, right?
This was the backup one.
Yeah, what was the first one?
I don't remember what the other one was. The other one was not as good as this. It was lame.
This is your thing. You can.
Somebody replied and said, play-by-play guy. No one will ever achieve Mike Breen's body of work again. We ref fans think the same about Joey Crawford. Tim Donaghy is not even close to him. Let's see who else.
This is true. I mean, if you want to grow into a greater context, like what sport has the biggest gap between 1 and 2? I know you don't care about other sports, but like that's another question too.
I think baseball is such a crapshoot when you try and rank people. Football, people say Brady's the best. Who's the next best? Peyton Manning? I don't know.
Maybe
Joe Montana.
Yeah, probably.
Patrick Mahomes will eventually be up there, maybe. So that's a conversation. Soccer's another one. That's
probably Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky's nasty.
That was the top reply on this was center as a joke. Wayne Gretzky will never be gone.
Yeah.
So I suppose he is just head and shoulders better than everybody else that's played hockey.
Michael
what do we know?
Phelps and Katie Ledecky dominating the swimming. Have you seen those things Have you seen those graphics of Katie Ledecky's like top times?
No.
There's like a top 100, like 100-meter, whatever race it is. And they show it. This is the list without Katie Ledecky. And then she just has the top 15 times ever in like this one race. It's like obscene. Yeah, sorry. I just pulled up the athletics list of top players ever. And Jerry West is above Steph Curry. And it makes me upset. Anyways, but
He is the logo.
this is true, I guess. But this is also before the title happened. The most recent one. Anyways. All right. Let's get into the rat list. And I will start by rat listing Sam for giving us a Reddit post of the day that he didn't want to talk about.
No, like I mean, we talked about it as much as we could. I just didn't I was like, oh shit, like I don't want to talk about it. I hate this.
It's not a super long conversation. It's probably Tim Duncan, but yeah. All right. You want to kick off the rat list for real? What do you got? Let me put Matt the Rat on the screen and we can get going here. I don't have a ton of rat lists today. I got a lot of stuff off my check.
Last time.
I'll say
rat list line at the coffee shop today was literally out the door. There was a crowd of people just gathered outside at a big table. It's happened a couple times. But every time they are there, the line is extremely long because they set everybody back. So rat list to that. Not that it really ruined my day or anything, but
it's just annoying. No, I feel that. I'm trying to think, what have I done since moving my sister? And I haven't done much. I've kind of just sat here like a bum. I'll rat list myself for not getting out of bed till like 1 today. But my whole sleep schedule has been thrown off though. Like I've spent the month writing about the Women's World Cup for USA Today, which is like fine, and obviously I'm getting paid, but it's completely shifted my sleep schedule because usually I don't get out of bed till like 11,
I get up
12.
at a normal time now.
I know it is a normal time, but you have to like think about me going from I'm still going to bed at the same time, so I'm just like I've just been losing sleep all month. Right it hasn't like I've just shifted my hours. I've just not slept as much.
Back in our primes, I was getting up and you were going to bed.
Yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. That was definitely not what I should be doing. But yeah, I guess rat list
tornadoes.
Yes,
yesterday.
Agree.
In New England, southern Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, and actually Connecticut too. There was a bunch of little tornadoes going around. So a couple people I know were involved with them. One of my girlfriend was walking to class, so she got caught up in it. It was raining. She had to go home and change because she was soaked. And then my friend, he was on a job. And his coworker, who he described as the dumbest person in the company, was driving. And he was like, hey, we shouldn't drive because there's tornadoes. And he was like, no, we'll be good. And then they drove and one just came out of nowhere on the side of the road. And he was scared for his life. So pretty crazy stuff. I saw a video of one of the tornadoes on Twitter. I may find it just to add a little extra content for us. But it was crazy. I was like, oh my God, that looks like the thing you would see on The Wizard of Oz. Like, I didn't think that happened here.
Where was it? Rhode Island or like
Rhode Island.
Another part of the country? Yeah.
Like literally, back when I was a kid, tornadoes were at the top of things like I was afraid of.
Oh, it's bad. They're terrifying.
Let's see.
Do you have a picture of it?
Down to the damn thing.
I have a video.
Somebody driving. My God, where is it?
In Rhode Island?
Here it is.
Disaster class.
I'm gonna share
let's see it. Please, yeah. I took Matt off. You're good.
Hit the damn thing. Okay, present. Share screen.
Let's see. Yep.
If it would come up. Here it is. Okay. All right.
Here we go.
So
we're going.
This is somebody just driving.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look at it. Looks like the Wizard of Oz. That's insane.
That is terrifying.
The people on the road are unfazed, by the way. They're continuing to drive. This is in Johnston. This was 295. This is how we get to Ball.
Oh my God, yes. I'll be on this road tomorrow.
And here it comes. The car lifted off the ground.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrifying.
Shout out to those power lines, though. They did not come down. Look at it. Still standing.
That's terrifying. Yeah, that's rough. Jesus, man. Hell no, I'm not about that. I will also rat list the tornado, but not because of the thing itself, but because it was thundering really loud and raining really loud. And my dog is terrified of thunder and loud noises. And what my dog does is, my room's a mess right now, admittedly. There's like clothes and stuff on the ground, whatever. But what my dog likes to do when she's scared is she tries to get under my bed. And I have like a full-size bed in the corner of my room. But she has gotten under my bed and gone all the way to the corner at the head of my bed. Right, crawled all the way under. And she's not like tiny. She's a smaller dog, but she's not like a Chihuahua or like a little rat dog. Like, she squeezes under there. And what she does is she'll start clawing at the ground. And when she claws, all of my clothes and everything just go everywhere. Like she just boom, 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 like dirt or sand at the
Sounds
beach.
like you're on the rat list
Taking it everywhere.
twice for not
Yeah,
cleaning
for
your
my
room and staying in bed all day.
my
Jack might
dog
be
gets rattled.
depressed.
So, yeah. But then also, since Sam and I are weak on the rat list today, let's go over some of the rat lists from you guys. Let's take a look at the
Oh,
comments.
yes. I do have another one while you do that.
Yeah, run it, and I'll get ready to share.
Rat list my cat. Nobody loves just going up and trying to figure out what the hell I'm eating quite like he does. He's always on the table, like walking over to me when I'm eating my sandwiches or whatever it may be that I'm eating. When he has food on the floor, he has his own food. It's not like we're not feeding the cats. What a mess.
Tough look. All right, let's check out the rat list from you guys. We have a bunch to go over. I already took off, Matt. I'm ahead of you. I got you. We'll start with Joey Spatulas. And this is something I agree with because we've talked about it before. Rat list my fragile ego for refusing to put on sunscreen and then getting the worst sunburn of my life. Yeah. Agreed.
Rat list the guy who clickbaited the boys on the Peyton Pritchard video.
Yes.
Where it was like Peyton Pritchard takes over a run. And if you didn't watch the video, it's just Jack and I like going through the highlights and we're like, where the hell is the highlights from Pritchard?
He didn't take over. He did not take over. Sean, legend of the comments, rat list. I know y'all probably don't care, but tag the guy he always
shows
fights
up to fight with in the comments.
Yeah. Definitely rat list is to a video where he comments the Celtics suck now. And I clicked the link and it's Perk on NBA Today. So
he's monitoring the activity of this other commenter to see what he's up to.
Oh, is that what he said? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait.
Like he's saying this other guy went into a random ESPN video and commented that the Celtics suck now. So he's like paying attention.
How did you
what he's doing
this? I don't.
These two guys have
understand.
Hall of Fame beef.
Where do you guys find the time for this? I'm like genuinely. Where this ILL guy is from Boston too because he has the area code.
I'm telling you, like this is like when I was like, wow, like it takes. I miss the days where I could be more good at more than one video game.
Greatest beef of the century. RJ, shout out. I keep forgetting to say this, but rat list / anti-rat list. I'm remembering back in the 70s and 80s, WGN Radio out of Chicago had a program called The Sports Writers where Chicago area newspaper lifers sat around for 2 hours talking Chicago sports and bullshitting with each other. I loved it and have missed it for decades. You guys have the vibe. It's not just your knowledge about the seas. You guys are good storytellers. I hope this is the anti-rat list, so thank you. And the rat list is I can't buy a stuffed Matt the Rat. We'll have to figure it out. Thank you, RJ. We appreciate you.
Yes.
We try our best.
Very positive comments lately in the chat. Somebody's going to set us straight.
In my defense, I only rat listed dude because he called. This is the greatest beef of all time. It's got to be up there, right?
We need to organize a fight and we'll stream it.
We should get them on Rough and Rowdy.
Yes.
There's some other stuff that I couldn't get to because it was like rat wasn't spaced out. Ratless Funtown in Maine closing at 6. I want to rip too many edibles in the wind. Throw rides after dark. Yeah, closing at 6 is ratless regardless.
See, Jack doesn't even want to go on the rides anyway.
I hate the rides.
Never mind if he was intoxicated. Not that I know what that's like because I literally have no idea.
Timmy absolutely slamming long darts, referencing the guy at OB.
Oh yeah, little Timmy just slamming the. That is I haven't been down there, so I haven't seen the White Trash Avengers lately, but they're definitely out and about. Make no mistake, they're doing stuff.
If we assume the worst, both Brock and KP out for whoa.
Yeah. Ratless for the jigs.
And anyways, you saw this. I didn't see this.
Yes.
Oh, thank you to everybody.
Yes, very nice comments on the video today. We appreciate that.
Oh, that's very nice.
We
Appreciate
may have
everybody.
to discuss later.
Thank you in the comments. Anyways,
before we wrap up, just want to remind everybody, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will be live with our Celtics game show with First to the Floor. The people love them. The people have been loving us. So we figured we would come together as CLNS fellas and put on a show for everybody. We're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you're there. Save the date. Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live here. maybe on CLNS too, but definitely on our YouTube page.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We can wrap it up here. There were some also nice comments on the CLNS videos we did. God, I'm gonna have to go find them just quickly. But just a lot of nice people saying nice stuff about us, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
See, I just saw people being
tuning
mean.
No, the CLNS today's video or yesterday's video. Like the Pod Boys, can we talk about how much Joe is going to dare to free Peyton Pritchard regular season and playoffs? Forgot to talk about that because I forgot about the comment, admittedly. But we'll have to talk about Peyton Pritchard next episode. This is a topic of there's nothing else. We actually had some news today, so we went over that. But I responded and talked about it, and then I got responses like, just like the comment. And this other guy said, "Why are you worried about a semi truck tipping over on you?" Referencing our rat list.
That I saw. Episode. Yeah.
And I said,
"What do you mean?"
And he said,
"I feel like semi trucks like not very good with the balance.
They're huge. That's what I'm saying." But then the guy said, "Just want to say I never heard of you guys, but I thoroughly enjoyed the show. It's just nice stuff." And so we appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube if you're watching on CLNS, and check out CLNS too. Why not? Thank you to them.
When you timestamp this, you should just put it as end of show circle jerk.
Come on, we're thanking the people, Sam. Give me a break here. Come on.
No, we appreciate the support. We've been putting in a lot of work this summer. Some days it's not the easiest to get on here and come up with stuff to talk about. So we are glad people are actually watching. But with that being said, we want to thank you very much for watching or listening. If you're watching, you're either on our YouTube page, How About Them Celtics. You can subscribe, leave a like, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. It's not just the pods there if you're on CLNS. We also do these little daily videos. They're coming out every day. We don't do a pod, so catch those as well. Spotify and Apple, we're on there. You can follow us, leave a nice 5-star rating, nice review, say some nice things there. If you want to be mean, come to the YouTube comments. On social media, it's at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook page is just the name of the pod. You can follow Jack at JackSpunNBA on Twitter. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA on Twitter. Monday morning, Celtics blog. Dual article from the two of us coming out. So go check that out. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on.
Taco's